So uncertainty tolerance was discovered in the 1990s by some Canadian psychotherapists who were researching anxiety. And in the 90s, we'd got begun to get a grip on anxiety, understanding it as a medical diagnosis. And looking at transdiagnostic drivers, so these measurable aspects that can be connected to lots of different issues, uncertainty suddenly, as an area of research, has really expanded because it is connected to so many conditions. Across mental health, uncertainty tolerance affects relationships. You're likely to find your partner less attractive in times of uncertainty. It affects physical ailments as well as mental health. It leads to exhaustion and fatigue. And then it begins to span out from there as well, because it's a psychological driver. So empathy goes down, you're less able to collaborate. It affects biases. So it has a profound level of impact, uncertainty tolerance. And so it shows up in all manner of different areas of research. Now, where that gets really interesting, I think, is how we begin to see it play out in the world of work, and certainly within developing technologies. Because what's necessary at the moment is to push the technology that we are inheriting to go further than it currently can. There are so many empowering and brilliant examples of technology being used to advance economies, improve aspects of society, liberate individuals, create connections. And then there's this line between accepting technology as it's being given to us as a package. And I don't think there's very many technology that should be considered like that. So our ability to build on it, to try and discover new things, to not accept, whether it's a new app, a website, a mobile device, or software, but to question where it can go next. That's where I think it begins to get really exciting. And in the world of generative AI, you can see that in spades, and it's where the big debate has come. Should this world be being more regulated and better planned for? Or is this incredible amount of energy and creativity and diversity, could this lead us to something great and something new? And it's in that gap I see some of the best and most interesting work being done. I've worked in South Africa for a long time, so when you suddenly saw developments in technology and finance and payments hit mobile adoption, wham. I've never seen something so powerful provide so much social and financial uplift, because it just created a generation of entrepreneurs with mobile payments immediately. So when you pull that kind of thing together, you can see people's tolerance for uncertainty combining with an adaptation for new technology, leading us into new, bright and bold and rather brilliant areas. The impact of uncertainty on technology is found in their coexistent relationship. It's useful to pan out on this stuff, especially at the moment, because the excitement, understandable excitement of a new technology, and then the commercial drive for it and people's willingness to adopt and fear all comes into the melt. And it's quite hard to get a reliable read. And you take AI, for example, at the moment. So useful, zooming out a little bit, I was watching a brilliant talk last week about the similarities between astrology and artificial intelligence, when we once used astrology as a technology for trying to determine the future, and it was widely accepted, fully believed in, and helped people make better decisions, but was also thought as this scary technology which was going to take away our agency of divination and our ability to find the answers from within that we need. We'd be giving it away, devolving our powers of decision-making to the algorithm that was once astrology. And it was just a reassuring reminder that humans will continue to always invent things, and then we will chase those things to try and find out what they mean. And with each one of those technologies, what we're often trying to do is to remove uncertainty. Humans really dislike uncertainty. It's hardwired into us. There's a good research paper which argues convincingly that the unknown is the fundamental fear of all human beings. So we're constantly trying to remove it. And largely that's what technology plays a role in doing, efficiency and certainty. And so when a technology doesn't deliver a certainty, I think it creates almost a sense of dissonance. So now to have a technology which seems so uncertain, you can understand why it's causing so much fear around it. So the opportunity, as always, is to not let either one win out. A few years ago, there became a huge over-deference to data. But if you take humanity out of decision-making, you will not make good decisions, even the very best algorithm, as was seen again and again throughout the world. Algorithm after algorithm had been coded by predominantly white males, and so would then have inherent biases. And you saw fitness apps for women and various other things being delivered having been programmed in this way. So the interdependence and interrelationship is always there. And again, if you go back to ancient technologies or belief systems for working out the world, you can go right back to Taoism through Charles Darwin to Shakespeare, Einstein, and to Huberman, like to get a broad spectrum of how we try to organize, understand, and improve our ability at interfacing with the world. And again, you'll find the same message, that the challenge we face is when we try to deny or design our way out of uncertainty. And if you want to have a regular and reliable conversation and communication with things that will make the world more tolerable and more creative, it is to have a better relationship with uncertainty. So in simple terms, I think when we design technologies to remove certainties, we can only fail. And when we rely solely on technologies and forget the role of humanity alongside them, again, that's where we run into a dead end. One of the ways I've seen recently businesses really bring together this opportunity for technology and uncertainty at once is to take a rather different approach than one I've ever seen. There is more of an opportunity to play. Play is shown consistently to be such a driver of curiosity and a way of increasing uncertainty tolerance. And we've moved with such pace from a time when any major technology build, had to take a certain amount of time, required this many consultants and that many briefs, and to do things well, still often that's the case. But there's never been such a chance to just plug and play something. Even if you're just trying to build the beginnings of a website, and it doesn't need to be perfect, but the level of understanding you can now have to get something up and running, to put a payment system in there, to interface it with half-decent CRM, to create, some beginnings of some imagery on Midjourney. The empowerment that comes from that is really the thing that's most important, because you're at this juxtaposition of an awful lot of people feeling they can't keep up. The pace of new innovation and new technologies is too much, and I shall no longer be part of this. And they can almost remove themselves from the debate. And that's the most worrying thing you can have at the moment. To empower people's digital curiosity is almost even more important than their digital literacy at the moment. So giving space and time, giving just enough money to try this subscription, buy that one, who can make a rough and ready digital product this morning that does something useful? And I've seen that directly. Hackathon sessions with teams at work, coming up with fun briefs. What can you make out of low code, no code, bits of software that plug together? And it just allows for, like I say, digital curiosity, a sense of confidence, a sense of creativity and exploration, that there's so much out there that getting your hands a bit dirty, muddy, playing with it, leads to higher levels of confidence, a higher level of perceived ability of what could be created, and then that is what leads to opportunity.